I've been broke, I've been busy, I've been hopeful in all the wrong directions. I tried saving my way to $1 million. I tried hustling my way to $1 million. I tried investing, flipping, freelancing, and building businesses that collapsed before they ever got off the ground. And after years of trying almost everything the internet tells you to do, only one thing actually worked. Not worked a little, not worked eventually if you're patient enough. Worked in a way that was so different from everything else. I almost didn't recognize it when it was happening. Today I'm going to walk you through every single path I tried, what it cost me, what it returned, and why most of it was a dead end. And then I'm going to show you the one thing that changed everything. Before I get into what worked, I need to be upfront about something. What I'm about to share is not a shortcut, it's not a hack, and it's not something you can implement by the end of the week, nor expect results by the end of the month. But here's what it is. It's the most honest, most repeatable path. The most understandable path to building real wealth that I've ever found. And looking back, the clues were there. I just kept ignoring them because the other options looked faster. The moment I stopped chasing fast and started building right, everything shifted. I'll show you exactly what that looks like. But first, let me take you through the failures. Because the failures are where the real lesson lives. Let me paint you a picture of where I started. 26 years old, a regular job, a salary that felt decent until I actually broke it down. $30,800 a month after tax, rent eating $100 of it, utilities, food, transportation. And suddenly, I'm left with maybe $400 that was supposed to be my future. I wasn't irresponsible. I didn't blow money on things I didn't need. I was doing everything I was taught to do. Show up, work hard, save what you can, repeat. And yet, at the end of every month, I'd look at my bank account and feel this quiet, creeping dread that I was falling behind something I couldn't even name. The problem wasn't discipline. The problem wasn't desire. The problem was that I was following a script written for a different era, a time when a single stable job could carry a person from graduation to retirement with dignity. That time is gone, and nobody sent the memo. So I started looking for a way out, and that's when the experiments began. I want to walk you through every major path I tried, honestly, with real numbers. Because I think most people give up on the right thing for the wrong reason, and keep going with the wrong thing for the wrong reason. The first thing I tried, extreme saving. I read every personal finance book I could find. I cut my expenses down to almost nothing. Meal prepping on Sundays, canceling every subscription, no vacations, no dinners out, no anything that wasn't essential. I was saving about 35% of my income every month, which felt incredible. Until I ran the math 18 months in and realized that at this rate, I would have just over $100,000 by the time I was 40. Not $1 million, not freedom, $100,000 in a decade of a life I didn't enjoy living. Saving is not a wealth strategy, it's a survival strategy. There's a difference. The second thing I tried, the side hustle stack. First, it was freelance writing, then graphic design. Then I was dropshipping products I'd never seen in person to customers I'd never met. At one point, I had 4 different income streams running simultaneously, and I was working until midnight every single night. My total additional income across all of them? About $500 a month, which sounds good until you divide it by the hours it consumed. I was earning less than minimum wage on most of them when I was honest about the time it actually took. The hustle didn't give me freedom. It gave me a second job I couldn't quit because I'd built my identity around it. The third thing I tried, fast money through investing. I bought stocks based on Reddit threads. I put money into crypto during the peak because everyone around me was doubling their portfolio and I didn't want to be left out. I found a mentor online who sold a $997 course about trading options. And I lost more money executing his strategy in 3 months than the course cost me in the first place. None of these were stupid decisions in isolation. They were decisions made without the right foundation underneath them. And without foundation, even the right vehicle takes you nowhere. I spent 4 years trying every version of every shortcut. And what I got was 4 years older, marginally more money, and a deep exhaustion with the entire idea of trying to get rich. That's when I stopped trying to get rich and started trying to do something completely different. Let me show you why. We'll compare 3 individuals, all starting from the same point over 15 years. Person A saves a portion of their income every month, investing it in a basic index fund returning 7% annually, and never touches it. After 15 years, they have roughly $160,000, respectable but not life-changing, certainly not $1 million. Person B saves and hustles, same savings rate, plus an additional $2,500 a month from side work. This is a serious, sustained hustle. After 15 years, they're sitting around $480,000, almost $500,000, but they worked 2 jobs for 15 straight years to get there. Every birthday, holiday, and weekend was negotiated against a to-do list. Person C builds a system. They spend years 1 through 3 becoming genuinely excellent at one high-value skill. Years 3 through 6, they start packaging that skill into something that can be sold or delivered without them personally being present every time. Years 6 through 15, they scale. Their income doesn't double, It multiplies. By year 15, person C has crossed well past $1 million with an income that no longer requires them to trade every hour for every dollar. Same starting point, same 15 years, completely different outcomes. The gap is not work ethic. Person B worked the hardest of all three. The gap is not intelligence. The gap is structure. Person A and B were building with addition. Person C was building with multiplication. In wealth building, the math of multiplication doesn't just beat addition, it makes addition look like a different game entirely. Here's the uncomfortable truth that took me the longest to accept. Every path I tried for years was a variation of the same mistake. I was trying to accumulate money. What I needed to do was build a machine that produced money. Accumulation is linear. You put in, you get out, roughly proportional. It rewards consistency, but it punishes time. Because time is finite, and you can only work so many hours, save so many dollars, and hustle so many side gigs before the ceiling arrives. A machine is different. A machine once built runs whether you're watching it or not. It serves people you've never met. It operates in time zones you're asleep in. It generates value at a scale that no single human working alone could physically reach. This is not a new idea. Every wealthy person you can name built a machine. Warren Buffett built a capital allocation machine. Oprah built a media machine. The person in your city who owns 10 rental properties built a real estate machine. They're not smarter than you. They are not luckier than you. They just understood earlier that their goal was not to earn more. It was to build something that earned for them. The question that changed everything for me was not, how do I make more money? It was, what can I build that makes money when I'm not working? That single shift in the question changes everything about the answer. I want to be clear about something before this starts to sound like a motivational speech. This is hard, not complicated. The logic is simple, but genuinely, persistently hard in ways that the internet tends to gloss over. Building real skill takes years of deliberate, uncomfortable practice. Years where you're not the best in the room. Years where you're being paid less than you feel you deserve because your expertise is still developing. Years where it would be easier to just take the safe, average path and stop reaching for something more. Creating leverage means making decisions that feel risky before they feel rewarding. Hiring someone before you feel ready to afford it. Publishing something before you feel ready to be seen. Building a system before, if anyone will use it. And scaling? Scaling means learning to let go of control at exactly the point when control feels most important. It means trusting processes, trusting people, trusting the machine you built, when every instinct is telling you to just do it yourself. I'm not going to tell you this is easy. I spent years figuring this out, and it cost me money, time, relationships, and more than a few nights of genuine doubt about whether any of it was worth it. But I will tell you this. Every other path I tried cost me just as much and delivered far less. The price of building the right thing is high. The price of spending your life building the wrong thing is higher. I want to leave you with something that isn't a call to action. It's just a thought. And I want you to sit with it, honestly. Most people go through their entire lives being very busy and very broke at the same time. Not because they didn't work hard, not because they didn't try, but because they never stopped long enough to ask whether the thing they were working so hard at was actually capable of taking them where they wanted to go. You can sprint with perfect form in the completely wrong direction and arrive somewhere you never wanted to be, exhausted and wondering what went wrong. I tried every way to make $1 million. I tried the ways that looked responsible, the ways that looked clever, and the ways that looked fast. And what I learned, after all of it, is that the real question was never, which way is fastest? The real question was, what am I actually trying to build? Not what do I want to earn, not what do I want to buy. What do I want to build? Something that exists beyond my daily effort, that serves people I'll never meet, that keeps working long after I've stopped pushing it forward. When I finally got honest about the answer to that question, the path became clearer than any course, book, or strategy ever made it. You already know what you're capable of building. You've probably known for a while. The only question left is whether today is the day you stop trying every other way and start building the one that actually works. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Only you know the answer to that.